Hello, it's Who Knows When. Oh wait, I should probably stop monitoring. Holy fuck, I'm stupid. Hello, it's Who Knows When. As a music producer and songwriter, most of the process of creating a song can feel very technical. There are many formulaic techniques to better chord progressions, a better sounding kick drum, better builds, drops, intros, and outros. But one aspect of song creation can often feel somewhat mystifying to many people: writing good melodies. A melody is a linear succession of musical tones that the listener perceives as a single entity. My, what a sexy definition that is. Melodies are used in a tremendous range of instruments, from vocals
I'll be there for you
to lead lines to background clarinet. If harmony and rhythm are the cake of a song, the melody is the icing. Now, melodic composition does actually have technical components to it, and these can be used to help you get a good starting point for your melody. The first tip to creating better melodies is to work within a scale. Scales, a predetermined set of notes within an octave. For most common musical practices, a major or minor scale will do just fine. After defining the scale for your song, write out the 7 notes found within that scale and make your melody only using these notes. Even if you only use this trick, my guess is that your melodies will probably sound a lot more at home in the song already. Before getting to some of the more accepted techniques in melodic composition, I want to highlight one option music producers can use to create melodies, using some visual tricks to get you started. These can be as basic as going up, going down, going up and down, going everywhere, or not going anywhere at all. You can start off by sort of drawing a shape, and then experiment with the rhythm, which note you start from or go to, and get creative in whatever way you like. The first technique to keep in mind when we're writing melodies is whether to write in steps or leaps. Steps are defined as any interval between 2 notes that don't exceed a whole tone, basically keeping notes close together. While leaps are any interval bigger than a whole tone, basically keeping notes far away. A good melody will usually feature both, however using leaps can generally be a bit more intense than using steps. Using only steps could be a bit boring, using only leaps could be wildly disorienting. For that reason, you could for example start using a leap and continue with steps, or start with some steps and finish with a leap. Another way melodies can be categorized is to think in phrases. Most melodies can be described as either a question or an answer. It usually depends on whether the final note resolves or not. To give your melodies a structure that makes sense, make a collection of phrases that start with a question and are followed by an answer. This can help glue your melodies together and make it feel like a proper story as opposed to just a strange collection of notes. In addition to thinking about melodies as a story element, there are a number of tips and tricks you can use to spice up your melody. You could introduce slides, which add a bit more emotion and natural sounding movement to the melody. You could introduce non-diatonic notes to add some strange excitement. You could change the volume of certain notes, making some quieter and some louder to make it sound more natural and to give greater focus to certain parts of your melody. Or you could change the length of certain notes, keeping some shorter and some longer to give it a greater sense of rhythm. Speaking of rhythm, it's important to remember that a melody is not all about where the notes are placed, but also when they're placed. If your drums, chords, or other sounds play a certain rhythm, you could add a different rhythm to your melody to really get your song flowing. Or you could do the exact opposite of that to give it a sort of grander feel. Another thing you could do is before making the melody, make the rhythm. Find a groove that sounds good and then replace those notes with melodic notes afterwards. Now, the next tip might seem somewhat vague, but in addition to creating a good melody, making sure the rest of the music's on point could greatly enhance how your melody sounds. If the drums, chords, and other sounds are weak, a great melody really isn't enough to get a good overall song. The final tip for today is to remember that we're all creatives at the end of the day, and part of making your creativity more intuitive and efficient is to simply listen to music. If you listen to enough good melodies and try and think about what it is that makes them good, step by step you'll internalize the process and be able to create better melodies faster. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you around.